Hello Geeta, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah.
Amit, how are you doing?
Thank you for coming over.
Thank you for having me over as well.
Thank you. Tell us about yourself, Geeta. In a brief, how long you have been in this industry,
Sure.
and generally what's your experience when it comes for a client who was looking for buying an investment property?
Sure. So I've been in the finance industry since 2001, almost 23 and a half years. I've been working for the big four banks in Australia, Koala St.George, NAB, CBA, Bankwest, and Rabobank as well. And I've been broking, having this business called GK Finance, which is my own brand, since 2013. We are a company which has brokers within the company, and we do investment loans, owner-occupied, residential, all about finance. It's one-shop stop. So with investment lending, that is the most important at the moment. Consumers, people who are new in the market as well, they are looking at investing, and perhaps Sydney is an expensive area, and they always want to get into the market. And as you know, at Koala Invest, there is never a wrong time to get into property. It's always the right time at the right place. And
Yes, we always say better late than never.
And no better than your team can vouch on that.
So thank you. Coming back, so what do you think if someone is buying a property as an investment, he should keep it in mind in all of your experience of so far?
Sure.
Just briefly.
So investing in a property is the best way to go. It's the safest option for a mom and dad investor, because you are investing in bricks and mortar, which you can never go wrong, because you have the product, you're feeling the product. Unlike shares or a depreciating item, you do not feel the product. Bitcoin, for example, people shouldn't go and invest it, but no one's seen it. For example, investing in a property like the one Koala Invest has just done for a client of ours, which is a dual key property, it is a guaranteed return on investment for the client. Borrowing capacity is the first way we go with. If a client comes to me saying, I want to buy an investment property, we have to see whether they do have the deposit and what is their borrowing capacity. Once we qualify that he's got the deposit as well as the borrowing capacity, we suggest them to see what the return of investment is going, and then speak to someone at a professional like Koala Invest, who would have properties around Australia, and they could give options whether they go for a standalone property or they go for a property which is a dual key or a land and home package, depending on what the requirement is of the client and what it can be within the parameters which we have decided for him.
Fantastic. And in your view, does it really matter what rate of interest they are borrowing in a bigger perspective? Should someone not get into an investment property just because currently the interest rates are high? How do you factor that in your strategy when you are talking to a client?
Sure, Amit, as you know, in the last 25 years, Australia has seen a highs and lows of interest rate, but the recent times we saw the lowest, like 1.89 for an investment. I don't think we have ever seen this in our history, in the mortgage industry as well. So I think it's never going to come back. It won't. We're just going to be a stable economy. Is always between 5.5% to 6.5% to keep the economy going. So I guess it's never too late to get into a property, and interest rate shouldn't be something which you have to hold up yourself that I want to start investing, because it is 100% tax deductible item and you could claim tax on it. So investing is not the wrong path. It has to be the right path, because if you are thinking of investing today and you're still thinking, remember, your thought will be the same, but your property will be increased. The amount and the inflation would be there. So your property, for example, if you're looking for something at 550, for example, by the time you're thinking whether it's right or wrong, let's wait for the interest to go down or go up, you're wasted 6 months, and in 6 months this property could be 590, potentially 600, depending on the growth area which you would know.
Well said. In your view, how important is, when a customer or a client comes to you for thinking about loan, the location in terms of whether they should invest in the same city they're living in, or they should also consider other regions?
Well, definitely not the same street I would say, or the same suburb, because where you live, you are already a normal person. You want to live in the best place where you want to. It's your comfort zone, and you know it's a growth area. You won't find people who'll come and invest there. It's more like a residential owner-occupied property. So when you look at investing, you should look at the return of investment should be relatively high, at least 8%, 6.5 to between 6.5 to 8%. Alternatively, you could look at suburbs outside where you live, growth areas. Even if you have to go to regional New South Wales or regional country Australia, interstate, anything, but you know, where you have a good return of investment, and the price range should never go higher than $1 million. So anything between 550 to 800 should be the preferred, because if you go and buy something for $1 million and 1.5 million, and the return of the rent is not going to be that high, and the area where you live particularly, you would not have your neighbors who come and rent out. Even if you buy a property where you live, the person won't be renting more than a year, because he or she might be just renting it for a purpose. You need a suburb, you need a property which is not going to give you a longer rental commitment. For example, in countries you've got hospitals, and it's all any investment property which is close to a hospital, you'll have a guaranteed tenant, which would be a decent income earner who wouldn't mind paying rent. Even in that instances, if you buy something like that, the local government comes and says, can we have 10 houses on this street, because we have doctors coming from overseas doing their fellowships, we need houses for them. So it is guaranteed. There are a lot of options, and I'm sure Koala Invest does look at interstate and within Australia. Regional is the growth area of the moment.
Oh no, certainly, we also advise clients, depending upon, as you rightly said, sometimes regional areas have good employment prospects.
Yes.
A lot of government projects are starting up.
Immigration as well. Government is increasing immigration.
And the vacancy rate is low,
Sure.
rental yield is good.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we also advise our clients.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Amit, really for this opportunity, and
thank you for
all the
coming
best
over.
for Koala Invest.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys are doing an amazing job, and you'll continue to do that in 2025 as well.
Thank you, and we'll keep assisting your clients and growing more.